okay.
The world is looking at El Paso.
What will we say to the world? From the KELP studio in El Paso, this is 915 Talk.
And now your host.
Good afternoon, most excellent neighbors of the borderland. This is 915 Talk, and I'm your host, Andy Frecken. Today we are yet again broadcasting from the heart of the world's largest borderplex. We're here at the KELP studio in El Paso, and today we have the distinct privilege of having Mac Daddy Del Norte on the board. Mac Daddy, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Andy, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
You know, I'm doing all right.
Why is that? Why just all right?
How many episodes do you think we've done on 915 Talk?
Ooh, I want to say 367.
Oh, you're speaking prophetically. I like that. not 367. This is episode 342.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Yeah, so today we have a very special guest with us.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why he's special?
Definitely, because he is a unique expression of an endlessly creative God.
Yes, he is indeed the unique expression of an endlessly creative God. Also, he's been on this program almost as many times as anyone else.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, Mac Daddy Del Norte.
Uh-huh.
We always kind of give the same introduction for this guest. I'm going to give a little bit of a different introduction this time and see if people out there can guess who it is.
Okay, let's hear it.
So he's an author.
Okay.
He wrote the book, and we talked about it on this program. So only our most attentive listeners might remember this, because this was a little while back. Carry the Fire, the Miracle of the Spirit in Everyday Life. Mm-hmm. He wrote that book.
Yeah.
And then another one, Always Better News. That's a little bit of a clue for faithful KELP listeners. Always Better News, why the gospel is better news than you think. And then here is a curious one.
Okay.
The Paranormal Yuletide Club, a paranormal dinner club prequel.
Oh.
Does
Third
that sound
book?
does that sound like a Christian book? I asked you a question. What's happening back there?
I'm thinking.
Are you
I'm
glitching
buffering.
back Daddy?
I'm buffering.
Buffering. Yeah, it is writing. I guess it's the next book in the series.
Yeah.
About the Paranormal Dinner Club.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. I mean, so I also he is a pastor.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about pastors writing fiction books.
Oh.
What do you think, Mac Daddy Del Norte?
Man.
Should they stick with theology?
I mean, for fun, we can talk about.
Oh, for fun.
yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Oh, I feel like he has a lot to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's part of a podcast which is named after a 70s British punk band.
Yeah.
Probably not intentionally. It's called The Clash.
Yeah.
The Clash. So it's talking about the clash between modern culture and really our faith, Christianity.
Oh.
At least that's my understanding of what it is.
Okay.
So they're talking about all kinds of things. Materialism, self-esteem, the world, flesh, and the devil.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, internet culture,
Love it.
depression, busyness. Do you ever find yourself getting too busy, Mac Daddy Del Norte?
At times, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Then what do you do?
Slow down a little bit.
Oh.
And
Do
change
you think the
paths,
Bible
take a
says
break.
anything about that?
About slowing down?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. You'll have to check into
I'll
that.
have to check.
Okay,
I'll get back to
we
you
have a
on that
lot
one.
to talk about. So without further ado, let's give a very warm Borderland welcome to the one, the only, Pastor Ricky Alcantar. Pastor Ricky, welcome back.
Oh man, it's so good to be here, man. And I just have to say, you guys have been putting in some work lately, brother. You're giving a list of what I've been working on, man. The stuff you guys have been working on 915 Talk.
Yeah.
In case people are not regular listeners, I mean, I was just scrolling through, like, what have you guys been up to? This is the last few. AI.
Yes.
Everybody's talking about AI. We're talking about AI. What does it mean? AI, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Will our resurrected bodies be like? What about forgiveness and how it relates to mental health? You have a business person talking about building their business and a family. Like, man, you're everywhere, bro. So
Right.
I love to see it.
We even, this month, we talked about the botanical gardens that are going to be built on the west side of El Paso.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about horse therapy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, not therapy for the horses, but therapy for people on horses.
Oh, I actually have experience with that.
Oh, really?
Not personally, but yeah, I know some details about that. And let me just say this: I'm a regular listener to 915 Talk, but I'm not always in my car.
Okay.
4 to 5.
Right.
So
Sadly.
I am a regular YouTube listener.
Okay.
So
I appreciate
in case
that.
people are not clued into that, man, you can video podcasts are, I guess, all the rage right now.
Yeah.
And if you're like, man, it's worth just every few weeks scrolling through and just seeing like what's going on in the city, what's going
Right.
on in the Christian community here. I love it.
Yeah,
So,
well, I'm excited also for some of our future guests. One of them will be the Gibbs Keaton. He's the soccer coach at UTEP.
oh yeah.
And have possibly some other sport type people coming on
Come
soon.
on.
So the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, Ricky.
That's right.
And so let's get to know our community so that we can learn how to serve better.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
So the Clash.
Yes, sir.
The Clash. We're talking about your podcast and just this tension, maybe, between modern culture and the church. And I was thinking about this, and I was reminded of a stand-up comedian I saw recently.
Okay.
And normally I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy.
Sure.
But this one bothered me, and I
Oh.
didn't laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the guy, first of all, he wasn't very funny.
Okay.
But he was like, man, being a pastor must be the worst thing in the world. Because you have people coming to you with modern problems.
Sure.
And you have to answer those problems with this ancient book.
Oh, I see.
And he's like, so you're dealing with, I don't know, I don't remember what it was, but addiction to the internet. And the pastor's like, well, read this story from the book of Judges.
Right. Right.
And he's digging deep to find anything related to the
That's right.
internet.
That's right. That's right.
And so how would you respond just to that broad jab
Oh,
at
yeah.
Christianity that, the ancient book of the Bible really has nothing to do with modern problems?
Well, and let me just say this. I think that attitude is way more common than we often think, not just in the outside the church world, outside Christianity world. I think it's very common in the church, because if you were to, say, hey, you've got a big decision coming up, you've got a big life pivot, you're considering, where do you normally go for advice on those things? It's, you're going to ask AI, or you're going to find a blog, you're going to find a podcast, you're going to find a book, we end up going there. And then basically once we have all of our thoughts and opinions shaped, then we kind of come over to the Bible and maybe double check. Like,
Right.
hey, I'm not sinning by doing this new job. Am I, okay, great. And then we move on.
Yeah.
But the Bible gives us a totally different perspective on life. And this is what we believe. This is what Christians claim about the Bible, that the Bible is the only infallible, authoritative perspective on human existence and the world around us.
Okay.
Okay? So if that is true, it should be our first stop, not our last stop, even as we face modern problems.
Okay.
And one of the things this ancient book tells us is that human beings actually haven't changed a whole lot.
Okay.
What they do may look different from the outside, but I'll give you an example. Our church just finished preaching through Ecclesiastes this summer.
Okay.
There's nothing like a summer series to fire people up, Andy, like starting with everything is vanity. All of life is vanity.
And chasing after the wind.
Chasing after the wind.
There's nothing new under the sun.
have a great vacation.
Why are we even trying?
But man, I heard from believe how relevant Ecclesiastes was to our modern life.
Right.
Because it goes after topics like, will materialism make me happy? If I have more stuff or more money, will I finally be happy? Now,
Right.
the stuff we're buying might be different. The stuff we do to get that money might be different. But man, that is such a human impulse.
Right.
Or experience or
Yeah.
success or all of these things, right? And so the Bible is the only authoritative perspective on human life and existence.
Okay.
And therefore, that's what we want to go to first.
Okay, well, let's talk about that then. Let's dig a little deeper. You're talking about materialism. What were you learning as you read through Ecclesiastes? Because as you were saying this, I happened to chance upon a reel of you talking about this somewhere on the internet.
Okay.
And it was something about, I'm just going to tell you what I remember. You think having a little bit more is going to make you happy.
Oh, man. Yes. Yeah. Ecclesiastes says the eye is never satisfied with seeing, nor the ear with hearing. Right. So Ecclesiastes is framed as a search for meaning, a search for wisdom. Right. And it's likely written by Solomon or somebody like him that has way more resources than you and I will ever have. And so they were able to do things that we often think if we could just do that, then we'd be happy.
Right.
And here's the chase. He notices something in himself and in the world around us related to materialism. He says, humans often think it's the next paycheck raise. It's the next purchase. It's the next house. It's the next vacation. It's the next whatever. That's the thing that finally I'm going to arrive at a sense of wholeness and peace. And he basically goes, hey, I've already tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went all the way down. You're thinking if I had if I was a millionaire, then I'd be happy. Yeah. And he's like, I am what I was and am. I'm a billionaire. I'm a multi-billionaire. I tried everything. Nope, not down there. And this phrase, all is vanity, really just means all is a vapor. All is a wisp of smoke in our human existence. Therefore, don't look to materialism and think, oh, that's going to be there. Have I told you the Rockefeller story about this before?
No.
Okay, so Rockefeller, this is apocryphal, but I think it gets at a very live truth. So the story goes that somebody was asking Rockefeller, which million that you've made was your favorite million? Right?
Okay.
Thinking that he's going to have some story of like, oh, I did this deal, or I made this investment, and that was my favorite business deal. The reporter says, what million was your favorite to earn? And he looks at the reporter and says, my next million. Right? And you just go, oh, because and I don't know if actually Rockefeller said it or not, but it's very much like what celebrities and CEOs and business people at the very top often say.
Right.
It was repeated by Tom Brady, right? After he wins, I think it was his third championship. He's doing a sit-down interview, and they're like, he basically says, I'm sitting here, I'm dating this person everybody wishes they were with. I have all this money. I just won the Super Bowl, and I'm just sitting here thinking there's got to be more. Right? So you're like, success isn't it? Materialism isn't it?
Right.
It's not down those pathways. Yeah. And here's the thing, Andy. The Bible has been telling us that for 3,000 years.
Right.
And so we think, oh, I've got it. The Bible has nothing to say about this clash between the modern world and the ancient text. The Bible doesn't really have anything. But no, the Bible has the answers.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking of the idea that almost everyone I know and have met and have spent time, they'll always talk about when they didn't have money with nostalgia.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It was always, well, I was eating ramen noodles and sleeping on my friend's couch. Those were the glory years.
Yep.
And, that's looking at the process and enjoying where we are at in the process requires, I don't know, it requires us knowing that we're with the Lord. And going back to Scripture, you consider the people of Israel going through the desert for 40 years. We know all those stories. And when everything was going just fine, we know very little about it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's so true, man. Yeah. And I think the materialism is just one example of the many places Christian life, our faith and our culture are clashing with one another. And here's one of the burden from my Ben and I, the reason we started this podcast in the first place, is that we saw that Christians were often aware of the wrong clashes around them and conflicts around them. And they were giving in a sense, too much attention to the wrong clashes and not enough attention to the right ones biblically.
What does that mean?
So often Christians are very aware of contentious political topics.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Right. It's very, there's the latest, what's going to happen? Are they going to pass the budget? Are we going to, or right now, data centers, right? What about AI? What about data centers? What about water use?
Downtown Deck Plaza.
The Downtown Deck Plaza, what should the UTEP sports teams be doing to win more games or whatever it is? Or even the daily clashes we have in life with our boss, with our family, with whatever the conflict in our life is. We're very sensitized to those things.
Right.
But the Bible is meant to reveal the world as it is, as God sees it.
Okay.
The Bible is where we get God's perspective, and God's perspective helps us see that often those clashes, while important, while meaningful in a real sense, there is a conflict behind all those conflicts.
Okay.
The conflict between the purposes of God and the world, the flesh, and the devil around us.
Okay.
And that conflict is what I'm concerned Christians are not giving enough attention to. They may be 100% well-read about the latest legislative session or the latest Supreme Court decisions, but they may not understand an issue like materialism that is affecting their everyday lives and perhaps is draining them of their spiritual life. And so it's only when we begin to see the right clashes and then begin to apply God's word to those places that I think we begin to truly have a Christ-informed, word-informed worldview.
Okay, so again, what would an example be of a right clash?
So Revelation is great for this. Okay. So Revelation, you have a church that's right in the middle of a big clash in the Roman Empire. There's a rising. Well, Nero is a rising power, and persecution is coming, and everyone's concerned. And then there's Roman Empire. Maybe there's signs that may be fracturing, and there's political and social turmoil and famines at different points, and all this is going on. That would have been top of mind for the Christians in the first century. I don't know about you, but I'm like, hey, if the government's going to turn against me and maybe, feed me to the lions, I'm going to keep on top of that. And so that's where all of their energy is going. But Revelation is written to give God's people a bigger eternal view of the clashes between the forces in the world around us.
Okay.
So you get the clashes like seduction, right? You have the Babylon, the culture pictured as this seductress, right? Who's enticing the church. You have the beast and other things like the opposition of the church, the ones coming against the church. You have the false prophet deceiving the church, right? And so all of these things, just take those three, where you might be aware of what's going on with data centers and legislation.
Sure.
But do you know where in your life you're being seduced? Do you know where the world is seducing you or trying to?
Okay.
Do you know where in your life you are experiencing opposition for being a Christian that you may not realize?
Right.
Because of your virtues or values? Do you know where you might be susceptible to false teaching? Where you might get pulled away? Right? And so the Revelation is written to help the saints in the first century endure. Right? That theme of overcome. I've written this so to the one who overcomes. So the one who overcomes, right? Basically, like, guys, stand strong. Look at the right battle you're fighting. It's a battle often not between political figures, but between the world and the flesh and the devil, between ideologies, between world views. And if Christians are sensitized to those things, then we'll be able to follow the Lord better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back. I want to dig deeper into that.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we were talking about materialism earlier and kind of the meaning of life. And if someone is, I often ask the question like this: someone's just flipping through the stations. They maybe have never opened a Bible or haven't for a long time. And you're saying, well, the Bible has truth that affects us today. And I think a lot of people feel that way. You're trying to get your mortgage payment. You're trying to get your kids to their whatever the next event is. There's so many. You're trying to just keep your life together, and you're thinking there must be more than what I have right in front of me right now. Where would you point them as a starting point?
Man, so good, man. Okay, so the question, where do you're looking at your money, you're looking at finances, and you're maybe even thinking, the more I'm looking for is probably down there. It's if I had more freedom in my budget, a more wiggle room, if I got out of debt, if I got a better job, if we got a better house, right? Often we're like, well, more must be what the commercials tell me.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is what happens in America. You think there's got to be more to life. And you have a million advertisers that are like, have I got good news for you? I have a brand new product that is that more that you need.
Yeah.
But the Bible gives us a totally different response. I would just say 4 things. Number 1, the Bible tells us, Ecclesiastes, more is not what you need. More is never going to satisfy because more is not what you were made for, right? Number 2, the Bible reminds us you were made to relate to God. God is the more that you are longing for in the deepest part of your soul.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, come to me, everyone who's weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest, right? Come to me. He pictures himself as living water, as the bread, as the vine, right? These sources of life, like that's what Jesus holds out for us. 3, Jesus then says he redeems our view of money and more. So Ecclesiastes, one of its themes is enjoy your life, enjoy your food, enjoy your drink. Enjoy the world around you. Enjoy holding your wife's hand is literally like a part of it. Enjoy your work of the day. When whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might, right? It redeems it from like, I got to make more money so I can get more things. It's like, no, I'm just going to receive it as a gift. And then 4, we use our money and possessions for eternal good.
Right.
Jesus says, don't lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and so all of a sudden, here's what Jesus does. He comes, he says, to the person who is looking for more in life and thinks maybe it's more possessions, maybe it's more money. Jesus says, number 1, it's not out there. Number 2, it's here with me. Number 3, let me help you receive these gifts rightly. And number 4, let me help you make a difference with them. Right? So you see, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I describe that, I'm like freed. There's like a burden that comes off my shoulders that I'm thinking, I want that kind of life. Not this endless chase for like, you know, I don't know if this happened to you, but you buy a product and like the next week you get an ad for a better one, right? Like you buy, you know, like for a jacket and finally you're like, finally I got the right jacket. And then the next week you're like, we have the upgraded jacket, way better than the one you just bought.
Right.
Like, right. That, you know,
Yeah.
that just happens everywhere in life. And Jesus is like, let me help.
Right. Okay. So same kind of scenario. If someone is, you know, listening, maybe they haven't spent much time in church and they're just starting to wrestle with these kind of things, what would you tell them is the real clash in their life if it's not their mortgage payment? Where should you start off by looking at, you know, I need to, probably most men are looking, how can I fix the problems in my life?
Right. Yeah.
You know, where do I start with which one? You're telling me I'm not pointing at the right target right now.
Yeah. Well, Jesus says that actually it's a problem not of mortgage interest rates, but it's a heart problem.
Okay.
Jesus says in Luke that you can't serve both God and money, right? You can't serve 2 masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. And so essentially what Jesus is saying is he says the real clash in your life is materialism or money has become your God. It's become a thing that you're like, this is what I sacrifice for. And worship, he says with his song, you got to serve somebody.
Yeah.
Right? You may be high, you may be low, but you got to serve somebody. And so too many people are going, the real clash is who are you going to serve?
Yeah.
Are you going to serve this God of materialism, this God of money, or are you going to serve the Lord? And here's the thing, Andy, only one of them cares about you. Only one of them has a heart for you.
Right.
Only one of them went to the cross for you. And only one of them created and designed you. Right. And so the choice is really, because we might say, well, I don't want someone to be my master. Yes, you do. You're going to have something that you're following. So are you going to follow the God of materialism and money? Or are you going to follow Jesus? Because Jesus is a good person to follow in every respect, and he brings life in the end.
Right. Well, let's take this maybe to the other end
Yeah.
of the spectrum for churches. I know your life is as a pastor,
Sure.
and is centered around churches, your church in many ways, and you love the church with a big C, both in our community and around the world. Where do churches get the clash wrong?
Yeah, I think two ways to get it wrong. Number one, they can be unaware that there is a clash
Okay.
in the biblical sense. And what I mean by that is often a fish, doesn't know it's wet. It's just a fish.
Right.
In other words, the fish is just swimming. It's not thinking, I'm wet right now.
Yeah.
We in our culture, we are imbibing so many of the ideas of the culture around us and thinking that's just the way things are. The way we think about money or individualism or identity or sex or marriage or parenting or materialism, like all of those things, often we're just imbibing them. Mm-hmm. And unless the Bible is positioned in our churches to confront us and push back on us and lay out its view and its claims for our lives, we will always drift without any interruption. We'll drift in the direction of our culture.
Yeah.
And so we've got to position the Bible in such a way that we allow it to clash with our lives. Mm-hmm. Like one of our patterns at Cross of Grace is we preach consecutively through books of the Bible so we don't skip anything, right? Because you might get to a passage where you're like, oh, that's not going to be real popular in America. Americans aren't going to like that one. Like we just did that in Titus chapter 3 where it talked about government.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, hey, here are the good uses of government. This is why government's good. And that's not real popular in Texas around the 4th of July, And so but you're like, hey, what's the next passage?
Right.
So we're just going to preach what's next. So that's, I think the first places churches get this wrong is we don't allow the Bible to clash with our lives and culture. I like to joke that the Bible is an equal opportunity offender. It offends everybody.
Sure.
It offends every culture. It offends every century.
Yeah.
In different ways.
Yeah.
Right? So just let it speak. Second thing is, I go back to what I said earlier. I do think some churches are fighting the wrong battles in the sense that they are all in on only one or two of the clashes with culture and missing the larger clashes around them.
Okay.
Can I give you an example?
Sure, absolutely.
So, I agree that churches need to be bold and clear and thoughtful about and precise about what the Bible says about LGBT issues, about gay issues, about trans issues, all of those things. And the churches should be clear, right? And if they're not, as they preach through the Bible, I think that's a fault of point number one, which is you got to let the Bible speak into the culture. Right. But if churches are all in on that and not confronting the clash in their living rooms in the form of pornography or in the form of sexual immorality in different ways, if their members and people are watching shows filled with nudity and sexual content and lascivious stuff, and if you look at their Instagram, For You page and it's filled with, ungodly things,
right?
That's where you're missing the even bigger clash. Not just between this legislative session on LGBT issues, but against the American view of sex and the Bible's view of sex.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to shout amen or something. Because, I mean, it's interesting, talking about, I think you were kind of referring lately to spiritual warfare earlier. There's not going to be power to us looking at having any influence in our world if we're secretly enslaved to the addictions that you just lightly covered, and so it's, the greatest act of spiritual warfare I've heard is not the prayer you pray, but the life you live. And so we as a church, if we're not living holy lives, then we shouldn't be surprised that our talks on Sunday mornings about human sexuality just have no result.
Right.
Have no change in the world around us.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I give you one more example?
Yes,
or do we
but
go for a
first
break?
we
We have Charlie 1, right?
we have Charlie 1.
Oh, that's right. We
Yeah.
got to figure out what's going on with traffic with,
Yeah,
with the water and the rain.
That is the clash right now.
Come on, man.
If you're just joining us with Pastor Ricky Alcantar, he's a pastor of Cross of Grace Church here in El Paso. Also, the voice you hear each and every weekday at 12:30 p.m. during your lunch hour on this radio station, Better News Radio. We're talking about the clash between culture and Christianity. We will continue this conversation, but right now we have Charlie 1 on the phone. Charlie 1, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
Some wet conditions right now, Andy. Not where you're at right now in particular, but on the west side, I'm reading out those wet conditions, making it slick and kind of hazardous. And this is on I-10, all the way from about, I see it all the way from about the Schuster area through Executive, through Sunland Park. So that's where we have those rainy, wet conditions right now. Not so much central, not so much east side. We did have some rainy conditions about maybe an hour ago on the east side, but there was just some light rain that came down. Then it shifted somewhere else. But right now it's that west side that's under the rainy conditions right now. Let's add to that east side, a crash with injuries. Bericano and Ted Howden crash here. Busy intersection here. Joe Battle and Montwood, we have a crash central. Delta between Coles and San Marcial on a crash. I-10 East Paisano style car that's on the left shoulder, but just give them plenty of room there. And just caution this out. One more thing. I-10 East, sometimes it's a jungle out there, and
Yes.
make sure that your teenager learns to drive safely and with confidence with Jungle Driving School, located conveniently at the shops of Solano on El Paso's west side. Jungle Driving School, called 900-4943, 10% discount for KELP listeners. Jungle Driving School, Charlie 1 with KELP. And Andy, back to you.
Charlie 1, this afternoon we have with us Pastor Ricky Alcantar. He's a pastor at Cross of Grace Church here in El Paso. And we're talking about that clash that can often be between the church and modern culture. But I think one thing we can all gather around, regardless of our views on different subjects that we encounter in our lives, is a bowl of menudo. If we're clashing with the world around us, where would you recommend we find that bowl of menudo?
Find that satisfaction. Very delicious menudo at Eastside Choice Meats, Lumaland and Traywood. They have it in containers there and refrigerated. Take it home, put it in the fridge. Be sure to get pick up on that oregano. Very tasty, and you're going to love it. It's something you just don't find it everywhere in El Paso. Very few places have that delicious menudo. But so you pick it up there, and you're going to love it, whether you have it for breakfast or lunch or whatever. But it's very tasty, and you just gotta taste it. You gotta love
Yes.
it. Eastside Choice Meats, Lumaland and Traywood. Andy.
Thank you, Charlie 1. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're back with Pastor Ricky Alcantar. We're talking about this clash between culture and Christianity. And Ricky, I have a confession
Yes,
to
sir.
make.
This is the time for it. This is a safe place. Andy.
Just between you and me.
Just between you and me and the
I don't
Lord.
remember this ever happening before.
Okay.
I'm sure it has. But right before the traffic break, I said, we're going to talk about this after the break.
Yes.
I have no idea what we were talking about.
Oh, man. So I was going to give an example, another example of the clash sometimes being the wrong clash.
Okay.
And let me just say this. I'll shout out to my co-host, Ben, who I work with. He's a pastor in Pennsylvania. So we have a El Paso, Pennsylvania podcast, and it's called The Clash. And if something we're saying intrigues you, you can find it at sovereigngrace.substack.com.
Okay.
Or just look for The Clash Verses on YouTube. Mostly you'll get a bunch of British punk band videos, but if you go far enough, you'll find Ben and I. So if you see British punks, that's not us. It's the two pastors talking about stuff. So
The Clash versus. So it's the Clash VS. Period.
Clash VS, yeah. So or just sovereigngrace.substack.com. You'll see it right there. I want to give it a practical example that may be a live one for a lot of people is parenting. Right.
Okay.
So one of the challenges is you're very aware in parenting of all kinds of clashes. Clashes about whether they're going to go to bed on time. Clashes about, whether they're going to eat the food that you made or say, I don't like it. Clashes about, they want to be on this sport. You think it's too expensive. All those things. Right.
Yeah.
We're very aware, I think, as parents, Andy, that there's a lot of practical clashes. But one of the things the Bible does is it pulls us back and says, actually, the clash is very different for your kids.
Okay.
The place that your kids need you most to interact with them is their relationship with the Lord, right? The relationship, like with what we've been talking about. Where are they getting where are they fighting the flesh and what's going on inside them?
Yeah.
Like you may help them with, some great tips on their soccer team and the fight against their rivals.
Yeah.
But are you helping them understand themselves and how to fight their flesh? The world, where are they getting pulled along or pressured? Where is that happening? Right? If you're only fighting about this one show that they want to watch that you don't want,
Right.
like, you got to back up and go, why do they want to watch this?
Yeah.
And then the devil, where's their temptation or condemnation? Especially, I found the devil's often at work at condemnation. He's the accuser of the brethren.
Right.
So backing up and going, man, the clash is different than we think. And if we as parents want to serve our kids well, I think it's worth us giving time and attention to understanding the Bible's worldview and where it butts up against our culture's view.
Right.
And we need to be changed first of all, and then be able to help our kids as they're in the middle of the clash as well.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. I feel what you're saying, as a parent myself, and I'm in a different season now. My youngest just went off to college, and I'm enjoying that.
Yep.
I'm sure I'll miss him
That's great.
terribly soon.
That's great.
But how many times do we miss the deeper point?
Oh, yeah.
And for us as parents, just to take those moments to just stop and ask the Lord for wisdom to see the bigger picture. And that's kind of what you're pointing at, both in the parenting situation, the church situation, in our personal lives. What is the bigger issue that's causing this behavior, or why is this bothering me so much?
Yep.
Those kind of things. So love this conversation again with Pastor Ricky Alcantar. He's with Cross of Grace Church here in El Paso. We're going to take a break, but Ricky, before the break, we've been talking about this all week. We've been working hard on it. We're really excited. La voz en el desierto.
Oh.
The voice in the desert.
John the Baptist?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're calling our Spanish language radio
I
station.
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's radio, it's voices, it's talk radio,
Yeah.
teaching radio.
I thought your next guest was going to be John the Baptist.
Oh, I
was a little
that would be
excited.
so amazing. Even more amazing than the really cool guests we already have. But John the Baptist, wow. But we've been working hard on this Spanish language radio station.
Oh, praise God, man.
Yeah, it's currently available for streaming. We're going to have it up on app and Alexa soon. If folks want to listen to it, wait till later in the evening. Listen to this radio station right now, especially since we're live.
I was like, wait, you're telling everyone to turn it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you really
not.
should check it out. I
Yeah.
mean, I know Andy's been working really hard.
Mac Daddy mainly has been working hard on it.
And
He's the Spanish speaker.
well, Mac Daddy is a gift, man. And I know you guys have been praying and thinking about this. I remember
Yeah.
almost a year ago you said you were thinking and praying about this. Could the Lord do something there? So it's just wonderful to see the Lord answer those prayers.
Yeah. So we have quite a journey ahead of us. Right now, it can be streamed. Go to kelpradio.com, scroll down, look for La Voz en el Desierto, Voice in the Desert. We want to be that voice preparing the way of the Lord. And we have a journey ahead of us to get it on air as a radio station. But asking folks to listen. If you speak Spanish, listen, give us your feedback. This is what I call the beta version. Test
Listeners could actually give a piece of input that you're right now maybe going to take, and they could shape the radio station.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's pretty.
We absolutely will. Programming. But Charles Stanley, same thing, translated. But then
Wonderful.
the afternoons, particularly a lot of talk. We're going to go into break. Do not touch that dial.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
915 Talk is listener supported and is a production of Desert Voice Media. That's right. It's people just like you who make this program possible. Together with Desert Voice, you can learn how to better serve our neighbors and pray for our community. To become a Desert Voice Media partner, you can visit desertvoice.media. That's right. That's the website, desertvoice.media. Take a look and join us today in reaching our borderland for Christ.
As a business owner or CEO, you carry a lot, big decisions, heavy responsibilities, and often no one to process it with. That's why C12 exists. C12 is a confidential peer advisory group for Christian business leaders who want to build great businesses for a greater purpose. It's not networking and it's not a class. It's a room of leaders committed to excellence, accountability, and purpose. If that sounds like what you've been missing, learn more at c12borderplex.com.
915.
Testify.
When I was 14, I had this idea to get into filmmaking and make this own show that I picture, and I had this plan in my head that it was just going to happen someday. I finally learned that God is the one that makes everything happen. I would say the number one way that I have grown closer to the Lord has been by the times that I realized how awesome His plans were for the future that weren't my own. It felt like God all of a sudden spoke to me saying, it's not your job to feed the 5,000, just bring the loaves and fish. And I finally grasped what that meant. And since then, I have just embraced that same area of storytelling as my passion now. But I've done it in a way that I realize God is the one that makes things happen, and you don't have to rely so much on yourself. That has really been the most beautiful truth I've learned in my life moving forward. My name is Gigi Wilcox. If God did this for me, He can do it for you.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb
And by the word of their testimony.
desertvoice.media.
We're back. You're listening to 915 Talk.
We are back, and you are listening to 915 Talk. I'm Andy Freckett. Today we're with Ricky Alcantar, good friend of this program, and we've been talking about culture versus Christianity, and it seems like the bottom line of what you're saying, Ricky, is the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Come on, man.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and allow the Word of God to thoughtfully press against the places that the culture is already pressing on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let the Word of God press back.
Yeah.
In those places.
Right. Okay. And this is an interesting moment to segue into talking about you writing fiction, as we talk about keeping the main thing the main thing.
Well, I have a segue for it.
Okay.
Which is basically just one of the most common places that Christians are unaware that the world is pushing on them is in their entertainment. You may not realize this, but your entertainment is shaping the way you think.
Okay.
They've done studies on how when people watch things in entertainment, it normalizes those behaviors, and all of a sudden people are more open to them. And it's not just, is there a evil act on this show? It's, what's the worldview of the show?
Right.
Is it hopeless? Is it hopeful? What is it saying? The answer is the answer the wedding at the end of the the movie, whatever it is. So part of it is
the kiss on the beach with the sunset.
Yeah, you may.
That was the answer.
Well, yeah, and honestly, man, and
about this more on the show later, but Robert Bettis, just produced a movie.
Oh man,
a feature-length film.
Come on,
called The Elvis Pandemic.
Okay,
it's the most bizarre thing you'll ever see in your
life.
All
right.
But at the end, it has this come to Jesus moment that's amazing.
Wow.
It's about this Elvis impersonator that's being chased down by the cartel.
Okay.
And by the Italian mafia out of Las Vegas.
Good
during
grief.
COVID.
Wow. Wow.
And it's the most bizarre thing ever.
Line.
Yeah. And he once came on the show and he told me about the plot. And at the end of his explanation, I understood less than when he had started.
Oh, I love it.
But then I was in the movie and I played a pastor, and this Elvis impersonator's car breaks down in front of this church in La Mesa, New Mexico, and I come out and pray for him.
Wow.
And then a helicopter comes. Anyway.
Come on.
It's this whole thing.
Okay.
But it was so cool. I just want to give a shout out to Robert.
That's great.
Because right along the lines of what you're talking about, he had this meeting at his house with all the cast members, all the producers, everyone, before we started the project. And he gave the most beautiful salvation message.
Wow.
And not everyone there is a Christian.
Sure.
And it was so cool. And and he shares, I guess, your vision for seeing redemptive media, redemptive entertainment. So he's doing it that way, and only a way that Robert Pettis could pull off with a movie about Elvis impersonators during COVID.
Amazing.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So
I think one of the reasons I gave that whole story is because I've only seen the cover of your book.
Yep.
And the name.
Sure.
And it's going to sound a little strange.
Sure.
But after talking about Elvis impersonators during COVID,
not
it might
as weird.
Sound,
Not quite as weird. Yeah. Yeah. So, so what I've been working on as a pastor, and I will say my pastoral team was as perplexed as you are, Andy, about a pastor writing fiction, because we try to do things together. So I brought it to them. I'm like, hey guys, my degree is actually in creative writing from the Harvard of the Borderland, the University of Texas at El Paso. Shout out to the creative writing department there. And what's funny is
our listeners in New Mexico might have something to say about that.
Yeah,
but
it's
fine.
Okay. I don't care. Wow. Bring them on. Bring them on, man. Picks up. No, so what's funny is when I graduated from UTEP, I won an award. I was the distinguished student for creative writing my graduating year, and then I promptly didn't write anything. I went into pastoral ministry. Everyone was like, "I'm so excited to read your first book. I'm so excited to see what you do." And I'm like, "Yeah, great, whatever. I'm never doing that." So what's funny, I've come back around, and the thing that made me come back around to writing fiction again is, one, I love the craft of it, but two, I'm a dad now. I'm a dad of voracious readers.
Okay.
My kids are age.
That's kind of a cool flex that your kids enjoy reading.
What they do, they're 11, 13, and 7 now. And so they're constantly reading. And one of the things I've realized is what they read really does shape them. And so part of it is it's a playful thing. Like, I didn't actually ever intend to publish this. I really wrote the story for my boys. But what I wanted to do was write a book that's full of adventure, full of excitement, full of, a little bit of spookiness, a little bit of danger, but that had underlying values that help them learn to persevere in a godly way, to be courageous in a godly way, and to overcome things in a godly way.
Okay.
And so that's what got me finally off the couch, is not the writing award, but my 3 kids, knowing that I could maybe give them something that would help shape them a bit.
Right. So you're writing this for your boys. Why is courage important for you to write about? Why do you want them to understand that?
Oh, man. I think we're in an age where boys in particular face a constant challenge in the area of courage and strength. I think the two extremes are that boys are too angry, macho, misogynistic, or whatever, because that's a corner of the world. But the bigger problem is often boys are passive. Boys are afraid. Boys are, don't want to get hurt, don't want to take chances.
Yeah.
And then when life is hard, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so part of it is the story's an adventure story. And it's in the vein of H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, The Invisible Man, Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, all those old books that I loved reading as a kid, stories of adventure and life. But using that as a setting, an intriguing setting to tell a story of adventure and courage that I hope will help. It's funny, the other thing is that often in the fiction world, there's not a ton of male authors writing this kind of fiction.
Oh.
And so I'm trying to make, a small contribution as a dad of 3 boys to give them stories of courage. And it's a story really about 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And I can give you that's the heart, but I can give you the plot if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the plot is this. The Invisible Man's assistant arrives.
The Invisible Man's assistant.
Right. So if you've read H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man.
Okay.
So imagine he has an assistant.
Okay.
He arrives on the mysterious island of Dr. Moreau.
Okay.
Which is, if you know background in literature, that's not a good island. You don't want to go there.
Okay.
And he teams up with a monster hunter, an African explorer, and a magi to find a cure that can save the world.
From what?
Well, from basically it's like a cure-all kind of thing.
All right.
And so but specifically, the Invisible Man's assistant is after the cure for his brother, who has become invisible, right, and is unable to be in society. So he's thinking maybe on this island I can find this. But really, so that's where it starts. It starts with so it has all kinds of the stuff that I loved as a kid. It has mystery, it has monsters, it has action, it has danger, it has adventure, it has volcanoes exploding, it has all kinds of stuff.
Exploding volcanoes.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
But really, the heart of it is this boy, this teen kid, learning to persevere and overcome after trauma and difficulty in his life. Would sideline him or paralyze him.
Right.
Learning to overcome those things.
Yeah, so this is something we've talked about multiple times on this program. One is how 16-year-olds anymore aren't chomping at the bit to get their driver's licenses.
Yes, absolutely.
And you look at that, and I'm not going to. I think we can leave it at that. But it's there are so many areas where there is not that thirst for adventure that I grew up with. And so you're wanting to speak into that. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And talk about courage, which I think is super important.
Yeah.
But with that, you're also a pastor. What does the Bible say about having courage?
Yeah.
Like, does that matter? Because, I mean, I think a lot of times when we come to church, it's more about, well, be nice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. One of the most defining messages that I've ever heard found me at exactly the right time when I started as a pastor. And I remember I took on a big job of taking over a church that had been around decades before me. I didn't know what I was doing yet. I was very aware of that. And I was tempted to shrink back and just kind of like soft pedal things and not, try to rock the boat and not lead, basically. And I remember a pastor teaching Joshua 1. And Joshua 1 is such a great passage. It starts with God coming to Joshua and saying, Moses, my servant, is dead.
Yeah.
Now you get up.
Yeah.
And I want you to get up and lead the people into the promised land, and I will be with you. Right? Over and over. It's those phrases like get up, go, and I will be with you.
Yeah.
I want you to get up and go. And then he keeps saying, be strong and courageous. And he repeats it several times. Be strong and very courageous.
Yeah.
Basically meaning a lot of times, here's what I often think. Oftentimes we know what we should do in our life. It's just hard.
Right.
And we often are like, I'm not sure what to do. But deep down, we know.
Right.
Right. We need to have a hard conversation with our son or daughter. We need to take the step of getting marriage counseling because our marriage isn't in the right place. Like we need, and I think especially boys in our current generation, right, are tempted to shy away from hard things.
Right.
But the Bible calls us to do hard things, to
Right.
do what God's called us to do.
Sure.
And I think the courage is important because of what we talked about earlier, the clash between our culture and the purposes of God.
Yeah.
And so one of the other things I do in the novel is set up this character, this very charismatic, almost seductive in his thinking, Dr. Morrow, who doesn't believe in sin, doesn't believe in wrong. He only believes in what works and only believes in power, and those who don't have it. And basically, you see the kid struggle with, am I going to get pulled into that? That's almost the other extreme, right, of passivity, is this sort of, well, might makes right, and that's what I'm going to. And so he wrestles with it, and he has to find this path of courage through monster fights and volcanoes exploding that I think would be a virtuous, godly courage in the face of difficulty. And that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I love it. And I think just on a very basic level, it's so easy for us as the church to complain about the entertainment that's out there.
That's right.
But what are we doing?
That's right.
That's better. So when can we expect the book to be out?
So the book will come out, God willing, October 1st.
Oh, that's pretty soon.
And it's a small release. This is not. I'm intentionally releasing it as an indie title, meaning like a
Self-published.
self-published book. because it wasn't originally meant for a big publishing house. Nor do I think a publishing house is going to be like, yeah, you know what I really need? I need a Victorian Gothic adventure with a biblical worldview. Like we need a lot with a young adult Gothic steampunk adventure with a biblical worldview. We really need more of those. So, so it's going to be out October 1st. If you want more information about it particularly, you can find me at the Paranormal Dinner Club or Alcantar.substack.com. But if you look up the Paranormal Dinner Club, you'll find me on Instagram or Facebook. And if you listen and follow and send me an email, I'll send you an early copy of the book so you can tell me what you think.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this has been such a great conversation, Ricky, as always, and love hearing about the work you're doing. You're so prolific. You're leading a church that's. I'm always happy to recommend to people, and love, of course, having you on the radio. Now you're doing the podcast. You're writing a book. Always fun to hear about this fountain of creativity.
Now that you say that, I think I'm too much. I'm doing too much. I probably need to go home and rethink my life a little bit. So thank you for this intervention, Andy.
I was like, how can I put this?
Yeah, there's people that are going to talk to me after the broadcast.
Yeah. So cool. But no, it is so cool. And what you can tell them is we only live once.
That's right.
So let's give it our best shot, right?
That's right, bro.
So the podcast is The Clash Versus the book.
Appearing in the book.
Oh,
as well.
Absolutely. I could appear in a book.
Yeah, Andy Frecka could appear in the book. And so that'd just be you cameos everywhere.
I'm glad you understood the hint. That's funny. Ricky, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, man, it's a privilege. Love you guys.
Yeah, as we always say, let's learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk. You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors,